This one technique separates amateur from pro retouching. What is frequency separation? At its core, frequency separation is a professional retouching technique that allows you to separate the image into two different layers. So you got layer one, which is the texture, which is your high frequency. Then you got layer two, which is the color and tone, which is your low frequency. So looking at this picture, imagine this picture that you could peel away the detail. What you'll be left with is only color and shadow. So you'll see it'll be very, very blurry, in other words. Okay, and that's what frequency separation does. It separates your detail from your color, which allows you to work on the skin without destroying any of the detail. Okay, so it gives you just incredible control so that you can work independently from the skin texture and the color / tone. Okay, so let's show you an example now. In Affinity Photo 2, we'll go to filters, and here, just underneath clarity, you go to frequency separation, and here's your example here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exaggerate and just increase the radius so you can see a bit more that you've got majority of the detail on the low frequency, as you can see on this side, right? Very blurry. And then you've got the high frequency. So with your high frequency, you have your detail, most of the detail. Zoom in a bit more, you can see that. And with the low frequency, you can see it's just the color and the tones, okay? And this is a brilliant way, one of the fundamental ways I retouch on the iPad Pro using Affinity Photo. So we're going to change this radius down to, I say around to 2. And so when we zoom in, again, you've got that beautiful detail, and then you've got the color. Yeah. And that's what we're separating here. So when we're done, we press apply. And when we look at our layers, and I'll explain the two layers, you've got your high frequency and you've got your low frequency. So your high frequency and you've got your low frequency. Now, when you set up your frequency separation in a program like Affinity Photo 2, what we're using here on the iPad Pro, or in Photoshop, you end up with two main working layers, as I was saying here. You got high frequency, low frequency. Now your low frequency is very important, okay? This holds all the information about your colors and your tones and your shadows, as I was saying before, and it looks like a blurred version of your image. So as I was saying before, if we were to remove the high frequency, you can see removing it leaves your image blurry, okay? Here you want to do majority of your work. You want to work and even out that blotchy skin tone, reduce the redness in the skin, create smooth transitions between your highlights and shadows so that it has that natural, smooth retouching feel to it. You typically use a soft brush when you're dealing with this, and I will, if you check out one of my other videos, you will see that how I do that. Check out one of my longer videos and you'll see how I do that and how I work on that. But typically use a soft brush or like a mixer brush to gently blend and smooth these color areas so that the transition in the skin will be a lot more smoother, okay? So now your high frequency, let's take off the high frequency layer. Let's zoom in a bit because I've only got it on a radius of 2.0. This layer holds all the information about fine details and texture. It looks like a flat gray image as you're seeing right here, okay? So it will contain the pores in the skin, the hairline. Again, very difficult to look at, to identify. What you see is the hair we're looking at. Let's turn it back off. Low frequency back off. You're using the eye right here. You can see all the details, okay? And you know, what you can edit here, I typically don't do it. You can edit the stray hairs, the pimples, the scars, etc. But I tend to only work on the color because that tends to get rid of everything, and then I create another layer. But let's keep it simple here, as this is a beginner's course. So why is it so important for retouching? Why is it so important? Why is it so? So the main benefit is it's a non-destructive and realistic way of retouching. Okay, without frequency separation, if you try to use a brush, a healing brush, to remove a pimple, for instance, you will affect both detail and tone. So let's have a try. So we're going to create a pixel layer. Okay, we're going to go over to the clone tool, and we're going to use the patch tool. It's what I usually use, right? Let's make an adjustment here, for instance. We've got that detail here. If I was to simply move this, we're going to change it to current layer and below. You'll see, if we was to unselect it now, you can see that the transition here, all around here, is not good. You can see it's patchy, it's not natural. That's because you have affected both the detail and the low frequency. So what we have to do is we need to move this layer in between. And just as I was saying before, if you don't use the high frequency and the low frequency, if you don't use frequency separation, you're going to have this issue all the time. And this is why I really like Affinity Photo, because it is built in. You don't have to create yourself. You don't have to learn how to create frequency separation. It is actually built into the application itself. So let's delete that layer. You don't need that. Okay. Oh, let's get rid of that. Let's deselect it. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a layer in between your high frequency and low frequency. So I'm clicking on the low frequency. Once I click, I'm going to press pixel layer. Okay, let's have a look at that. So you got your pixel layer in between. So you're only going to be affecting your low frequency. Okay. So now I'm going to be removing, simply by using the same tool, the patch tool, we're only going to be affecting the color, because as I said, our pixel layer is in between. So we go over this circle just like this. Okay, we've selected it, and we're going to slide it across to an area which is close by, so that it eliminates it. Okay, and I'm just going to do that with all of them, because with my portraits, keeping the authenticity of that human being is important, because you don't want to get rid of all the skin. Okay, so all the skin texture, should I say. So I was getting too absorbed in this, and just simply doing that, yeah, and you can see the difference. Let's turn this off. Look at that. See how simple that is? Just by placing the pixel layer in between your high frequency and low frequency, so it affects the color only. Now let's exaggerate, right? Say for instance, you want to get rid of this color here, which is just underneath the eye where the eye bags are, and if we drag it away, okay, I know it's a little probably bad example, let's do that again. Let's select it a little bit less, a little bit. All right, cool. Right, again, if you take your time with this technique and you go around, you can affect any of your issues, color issues and blemishes, by simply using this technique. Okay, and that's it. Simple, effective way of retouching, and that's how I retouch my images all the time. I utilize the method of frequency separation, and this method is perfect for creating dimensional portrait, because it allows you to enhance your subject's natural beauty and remove temporary distractions while preserving the authentic character and texture. Okay, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed this YouTube tutorial. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and to share it with someone who needs it. See you soon. Boyd signing out.